welcome to the Nasty Labs podcast, legally the best podcast. We're the podcast from Game Studio Chuhai Labs. We talk about games, game dev, Japan, and whatever else comes up. As always, we're your hosts, Kinsey and Mark. So open yourself up a Chuhai and let's go.
Holy shit, Kinsey Burke. It has been months since we've been on the show, and we've got a great guest. Who the fuck is our guest today, Kinsey Burke?
Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Gregorios Kythreotis. I work at Shedworks. We made a game called Sable, which is usually how I have to introduce myself because nobody knows what Shedworks is. But
we know him because he drinks a lot at the bar with us, and he breaks his arm at parties, and he loves karaoke.
Yes.
That's about all I know, really.
We could get into that.
Yeah. But, how are you today? Why are you in Japan? What's going on?
I came for Bitsummit, and I'm staying till Tokyo Game Show. So,
oh shit! I didn't realize it was quite that long. That's the shit.
Yeah.
Are you trying to decide to move to Japan? Hold on. Future Mark, put the word "move to Japan" on the screen right now.
I would love to, but I know that's not on the table, unfortunately. So
this is some horse shit because we like having you around. It turns out.
I like being around. I'll be here every year. I'll be here for an extended period. So I'll come bother you. And
so what are you doing during this stay? What's going on?
Just hanging around, really. Just seeing you guys. I might go to Korea for a bit. I might go to Busan.
Awesome.
Indie Connect. I haven't decided yet. I'm pitching a new game at the moment.
Ooh, exciting.
Dude, it's a game about swords and
yep, swords. Cars and swords.
Dude, car sword. Yeah. Dude, that's the game, dude.
Yeah, that's it.
All right.
Exposed.
Don't steal that fucking game. That was our idea first, man. What else? What have you been up to in your time here so far?
Well, first couple of days was Bitsummit, which, I literally came straight from Tokyo on the Shinkansen, and then the next day was Bitsummit. Had a bunch of meetings, seeing people, drinking, repeat, and then
we'll get back to Bitsummit.
Yeah, and then rest. And we've done a bit. I'm here with my partner, and I was hanging out with Chris. I think he's making a game.
Name dropping over here.
Tako no Himitsu, which is...
French Chris Denios?
Yeah. We were hanging out a bit, and we went to Diamonds of Forever, the drag show at Club Metro.
Sure.
I heard that's really good. I haven't been yet.
Yeah, it was sick. It was amazing. We went on Friday, so my Saturday was a complete nothing, like I did nothing.
Yeah,
because that went till like 5 or 6 or whatever. And then... what else? Yeah, just some bits like Arashiyama, and we took the like romance train or whatever.
Ooh.
Which
that train's really nice.
It's nice, but not in this heat. Like there's no aircon,
and it's like, were you in the car that's all open?
No. I wish we were actually, because that one also I saw it as we were leaving. I was like, it's got like a see-through roof as well.
Yeah.
In case you want to see the birds.
Yeah, exactly. Well, whatever. Yeah. I don't know.
What do you see?
I don't know. Trees. I don't know. You just feel like you're more in it. Whereas I think the way they've got it set up, and it was quite busy, you're just sort of knee to knee with random people, and like they're too hot and you're too hot, and there's no aircon, and it's I don't know, it was okay. It was nice views and stuff, but what else have we done?
I do strongly dislike trains that have seats that look at each other when it's not a full party.
Outlaw that shit, dude. Hell no, dude.
No.
Japan's pretty good at that normally, but this was. But what else did we do? Oh, we went to... So Chris was staying at a place called Villa Kujiyama, which is like this French residency they have in the like hills here.
Oh, cool.
So we went and visited that. It's like this insane brutalist structure, and you like go up and can see over Kyoto. And so he was the only game dev doing a residency there like a few years back or something. And so he was just staying there for a couple of weeks for Bitsummit, and... it's insane. It's like he was living in a mad art gallery or something. It's just I'm super jealous, but it's only for like French residents and French speakers. So no chance. Yeah, agreed. But apparently, it's funny because I met all the people there at the drag show, and they were like, "Oh, you're the Sable guy." So Chris must have been talking about it, but also I guess they're French, and so they're like Sable, Sable, and I'm like, I guess. And then but otherwise, what else? Just been trying to figure out how to live because I'm here for a while. It's a very different routine. Like
Right.
I've traveled to Japan a lot. This is I think my 10th time in Japan.
Nice.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So I used to come here. I came here for the first time when I was 14. I did a homestay in Hamamatsu.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And then I studied Japanese from 11 to 18. I did like GCSE and A level in high school. And then I forgot all my Japanese for over those 10 years since. But also my cousin was living here, so I'd visit him. And then, yeah, I just really enjoyed coming here. And then I guess after stuff started opening up again after COVID, we actually came here for a business trip. So we came right before it opened up, which was quite cool
Right.
to be in Kyoto when it was only like locals and us, I guess. And then I broke my arm that time.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
after your gig.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah. Never forget. And then I had to purge that trauma next year.
Wow.
So I came last year and relived that evening. I came to Pop Pizza like the first night I was in Kyoto. I was like,
That's right.
you were there, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna come. And I walked back the same path I walked when I broke my arm. I didn't just break it, by the way. I like dislocated and fractured my wrist.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, it was nasty.
And that's the day you also released or announced your book.
Yeah.
Like you announced your
That was a
book.
big day.
Not the day, the 5 minutes before.
The 5 minutes before.
5 minutes,
so you announced your book while having a broken arm.
Yeah. I didn't know it was broken, to be fair. I just thought I'd like sprained it or something, and I like
Thanks, alcohol.
yeah. I was messed up. No, but I made like a sling out of my t-shirt, and I was walking down the Kamogawa, and it was like 1:55, and then the book announcement was meant to be at 2 a.m. And I think I'd been saying to you all night, I shouldn't drink because I've got this thing to do.
It was awesome.
But I got carried away.
Yeah.
The rum and coke.
It was awesome. Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think we just didn't eat much either. We just had like a couple slices of pizza. Anyway, yeah. So, and then I was meant to stay for a month that time, and I didn't because of that. So last year I came on my own for a month and just explored, and I went down to Naoshima and Yakushima, which was amazing. And I was just like cycling around on a little electric bike on my own and taking lots of reference photography for my next game. And
Swords and cars.
yeah, swords and cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what Naoshima's known for.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, but I love Japan, and I'll be here every year if I can get here. So if I can make an excuse, I'll be over and seeing you guys. And it's like knowing you guys here now. It makes such a big difference as well.
Fuck
Like
yeah.
before, I have friends here, but like.
But they're bitches.
Yeah, exactly. I'll leave it at that. Yeah.
And speaking of bitches, we have a great show lined up for you today. So as always, we'll start with What Up, where we talk about what we're playing, and then we're going to slide right into the main topic, which is a double feature this time.
Shit.
Double feature, yeah. And then and then the news, and then we'll answer your questions from Discord. And now it's time for What Up, where we talk about what we're playing. And the rule I made however many 100 episodes ago, guests go first. Greg, what are you playing?
So at the moment, I'm playing Dungeons of Hinterberg.
Hell yeah, me too.
It's really cool. It's sort of like got this Persona-like structure, but with a Zelda-like dungeony element to it. Set in the Austrian Alps, and this like cel-shaded art style, which I'm enjoying it. I think the loop is really compelling. Like, I think that sort of day structure is just compelling, and keeps you going, keeps you at a good rhythm. And I think what works so well about even the like Persona games is that you get that. It's sort of like that one more turn aspect of like a Civ game or something.
Oh, definitely.
Right.
But you get that in a narrative game, which I think is quite hard sometimes to achieve. But what's nice about it as well is on the Steam Deck is just you have that portability. You can pick it up, play it for 5 minutes, play it for an hour. It works either way, and I think there's something really good about games that manage to find that balance. So I've been really enjoying it. The puzzles and dungeon design particularly are really good.
Yeah.
I think like the first, so I played like a playtest of it, and the first demo was like the intro of the game, which I thought was it didn't really get me in.
Yeah, I think you have to play like the next dungeon or even the one after that to like get it.
I think, because the first one it feels just like a dungeon, and you're like, oh, okay, this is just like a mine, you're literally on mine carts, and but then when you start getting to some of the other ones, they become really magical and sort of ambitious in their mechanics and aesthetic, and like
oh my gosh, yeah. There's one inspired by Mario Galaxy.
Yeah.
And that one's like beautiful.
Yeah. No, it's the... So that's the one they put in the second demo, and I was oh, okay. This is a way better demo for the game, and I think it's more representative of actually the quality of some of the dungeons that come later. So yeah, no, I think it's really cool, and yeah, just enjoying it. It's not like the story's pretty low key. Like there's nothing too intense going on there, but maybe that's what some people looking for with that sort of game. But yeah, that's what I've been playing recently. Yeah.
That sounds all right. First of all, I thought you said the Dungeons of Hinterberg, and it was I was imagining like you're on the Hindenburg, and right before it crashes, and you've got to escape.
Right,
it's going to be the sequel.
You know, like,
yeah, maybe there's a game in that. Yeah. I mean, maybe there's a game in that
because you're Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
and,
right.
And for some reason, you've got to get off this damn thing.
Yeah,
no ticket.
Dungeon, yeah. I'm trying to think what the dungeons are. The dungeons of his mind as he's trying to...
I mean, you got to fight your way out of Nazis.
Right, yeah. Those are dungeon-like, I guess. Dungeons in video games... I was thinking about the name earlier. I was like, dungeons is like... I think a bad word to use as a name, though. Just because for me, in video games, that's so evocative of like a really generic aspect.
Yep.
Yeah. But
the dungeons in this game, I do get why they wanted to push those. So yeah, it's a tricky one, but no, it's good.
I mean, I also think like dungeons. Typically, if you put that in the title, I'm gonna think something immediately of the trope, what good or bad. I'm just gonna think that. But by saying Hindenburg, I'm immediately like, oh shit, like Alps. I'm thinking Crow's Nest. I'm thinking Nazis.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Not a lot of Nazis.
It should be. All right.
Yeah.
You gotta cap those fools,
maybe the story goes places. I don't know, but no. I think there's like this underlying thing going on in the town that's sort of hinted at throughout. I haven't really got to the point where that's been revealed yet. But
what level dungeons are you tackling right now?
I think like level 4 or 5, something
okay,
like
yeah,
that.
That's where I am. I just got level 5 gear. So,
okay, yeah, you're a bit ahead of me then, I think. I feel like something's about to happen in the story that, like, I just stopped playing because I was tired, and then I haven't gone back to it. But the Alps setting is kind of interesting to me. It's like it's aspirational in a normal way, as in like, oh, I want to go skiing in the Alps. But I never really think of it as like, I want to play video games set in the Alps.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of interesting because so much of like a lot of games that do the like, oh, you can live the life of a Japanese schoolboy or whatever. Like that's just someone's like normal life, and they're presenting it, and it's like exoticized and romanticized. So it's interesting to see a different setting that, again, it could be perceived as sort of banal in a way, like romanticized a bit and turned into something fantastical. But yeah, I wonder what settings. I feel like there's more to like be mined out of the like people's ordinary, like just showing what your life is about, what the place you live is about. But I don't know what those what would be. What would your version of that be? I guess like
of the Alps specifically,
as in like if you were presenting like what you might regard as a like banal part of your life, and I would say specifically not the Japan part of your life, because I feel like that's a setting that's been really done, but like a setting that maybe hasn't been done in games or media,
right.
But you could present as, I guess, being American, like a lot of American life is put forward, but it's sort of that feeling of like people who live in New York versus the media representation of New York.
Right.
Like there's a disconnect there, surely, you'd hope. But But yeah, do you have anything that you would be any part of your life that you
like? So for me, like I used to live in a log cabin, and we didn't have hot water, and we didn't have air conditioner or anything like that. So like during the winter, we had to chop wood. Like we had to order what's called a cord of wood. That's a dump truck of wood in order to but I had to then chop said wood.
Yeah.
Just a cozy game in the making.
And we lived kind of in the middle of nowhere, and there was a lot of elements that like I took a lot of joy in.
Yeah.
But the banal things you're talking about, like there is my wife took a lot of pride in learning how to use an awl, which is like a giant axe, basically.
Yeah.
And she's a tiny little woman, and like she loved it.
Yeah.
Like if she would only do a few logs, sorry, Mary, but like she would take so much pride in that, and like that kind of setting, I think it's probably similar to the Alps. Like
yeah, I can imagine that. Did you? It sounds pretty isolated there, though. Did you have like tourists passing through ever, or like people who would be like no it was just totally
not totally. Like we were like in a city in Southwest Virginia, but like on the outskirts,
right? Yeah.
But no, we weren't like isolated.
Sure.
But it felt like it. I mean, because our house was like off the main road, and like you wouldn't even know our house existed.
Did other people in the city live this same lifestyle, or was this like specifically?
I mean, this is some hippie bullshit.
Yeah,
you know
right.
What I mean? Yeah, absolutely.
See, that's quite interesting.
Yeah.
Because in a way you're like distinct from the other people's banal.
Yeah.
But you're on the literal outskirts of it.
Oh yeah, and people like we would have parties all the time at our house, and they would always be like, "Why is there a wood stove?" Like in the middle of this party.
Yeah,
you know?
sure.
Like. Or like we're at a party and like I forgot to chop wood, and they're like, "Why are you out at 2 a.m. chopping wood?" You know.
Suddenly a lot of things are being explained about you. I don't know. There's just
Well, Kinsey, what's
yours?
what's your day in the life?
I don't know. Like the easiest thing to say is like Japan or game developer or something, or even like YouTuber from back when I used to do that.
Oh right, yeah.
But like in a way, Dungeons of Hinterberg made me like, so the basic story that you learn really early on is that it's kind of like a town that is like, it's tourism is the dungeons.
Right.
But it's also like a real ass town that people live there. So it's like a lot of tourists. And it reminds me a lot of both living in Kyoto and Seattle.
Right.
So it's like at the locals at odds with the tourists kind of thing.
Sure.
And it reminds me a lot of both places that I've lived, because it's always like super tourist heavy.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think that tension is really interesting actually.
Yeah.
And actually they do try to encapsulate that in the game, I think, and I think they do a decent job at it. Another game that kind of explored that recently was Alba. That was set in like a Mediterranean town, and it was, you played as this child and you're like doing like nature photography, but there is this like touristic element going on, and these hotels being built on this like on land that it shouldn't be built on, and how that's affecting the ecology, how litter affects the ecology, and it's interesting. And now you're seeing like in Spain, in like tourists getting sprayed with water guns, and in Japan, my understanding is there's a lot of tension with tourists now as well.
Yep.
And I guess there's that like two worlds to that, which I think this structure lets you feel like you live there, because you're just in that routine and you're just doing something day to day, and so it inherently gives you a window to present the like touristic facade versus the like home side of it. But it's a weird one. It's something that I've even written about before, about Tokyo specifically, and like staying in like Airbnbs there versus like staying in a hotel, but also like coming to Japan a lot, speaking a bit of the language, having friends here, but then playing a game like Persona 5 and being like the opening being like, find the I can't remember, the Ginza line or whatever. Yamanote line. I can't remember what line it is. And that is such a like part of the experience of being in Japan. But then the character there is like himself a bit of a outsider and then becomes like comfortable with the space. And I guess, yeah, I don't know. I think that side of it is really interesting, and the same is true in Hinterberg. Like,
yeah, definitely.
You're Austrian, but you're not from this place, and so yeah, I think it's great. I think there's a lot of stuff bubbling under the surface.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So a question that I try to ask everybody, and this is for both of you. Do you see yourself finishing the game? Realistically, if you can.
Yeah, I'm going to try to. I don't think it's that long. I think I'm like a third of the way through. Usually that question just depends on what else comes up.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
That's why I'm saying, expressing it like, do you see yourself?
Yeah, I think so, just because I don't... There's like a couple games coming out. There was one that came out yesterday. Amazing Animation. I forget the name. It's by a couple of guys from Yorkshire.
The new Panic game.
Yes. Yeah. What's
yeah.
it called?
I don't remember.
Yeah, it's great. I played a demo for it ages ago, and it's so funny. It's so well made. And yeah, I imagine that's like a 2-hour thing. So
sure.
I can imagine myself jumping over to that. But yeah, I think I do. It's, yeah.
I think I will. As long... The thing that I know that'll get me and not finish it is if at some point the dungeons become prohibitively difficult.
Sure.
Like combat-wise. I think that's the only reason I would fall off. Because I'm at level 5 now, and they're not bad. I very rarely die. But also dying doesn't really have consequences that I know of.
Yeah.
So I guess it doesn't really matter in that case. But I think that's the only way I won't finish it. If I'm at a level 5 now and it goes up to like, what, 10, 11?
Right.
Like, if it gets prohibitively difficult where it's frustrating, then
Sure.
that's where I'll stop. But if that doesn't happen, I'll probably finish it.
Yeah.
Awesome. So my turn. Hey.
Yeah, what you playing?
So I'm playing a game that came out yesterday. It came out 1997, I believe, was the first time. I'm playing a game called Tomba. I don't know if it's Tomby for you UK people. Are you familiar?
Tomby?
No,
Yes.
no, I have no idea.
So Tomba initially was a side-scrolling Metroidvania light from 1997, and you're a caveman with pink hair, and you've got to fight the 7 evil pigs for some reason. And
Obviously.
at every point in the story, they always say for some reason. They always say, like, the story is very aware that it's like
Ridiculous.
stupid,
Right? Yeah.
And so it's a side-scrolling platformer, and I say Castlevania or Metroidvania light because it has some elements, but it's still just a cornball platformer. It is at every step, at every person you interact with, they'll be like, "You need to go find this bird." Also, why do you have pink hair? Never mind. You don't even talk. Like they're very, very aware of just how dumb this is. And
the pink hair rings a bell for some reason. I feel like I probably played this in like a. Would it have been on arcade machines?
No.
Okay,
it would have
maybe
on.
not.
Did you have a PlayStation?
I did, but 97. 97. I wouldn't have done at that point. I was like 5. Yeah, I guess.
Maybe it was a little bit later, but it was in that range. But so Limited Run released it. I believe they're the sole publisher at this point, like both digital and physical. They basically ported it with they've got like the Carbon engine. So it's this new engine that they created in order to emulate games properly. Well, emulate them on new consoles, kind of legally and all that kind of stuff.
What are you playing it on?
I'm playing it on Switch. It is on everything. But it's still just a PlayStation game. Like, so whatever you play it on, it looks like what it looks like. Yeah. However, it looks fucking cute and adorable. And a little side note, Tomba 2, which is also a PlayStation game, that was our good friend Sweary's first game he ever worked on as a designer. He is uncredited, and but it is it's
uncredited.
Yeah, correct. But it's such an absurd game, and I think that. I would love somebody to explore this type of game, like a Metroidvania light. I've never played any other one like it. So it's 2D, like I said, but there's 2 planes. Like you can jump back and forth between like a foreground and a background, and so that kind of hides some of the elements. the power.
So do you gain abilities?
Yeah, sorta.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sort of.
Yeah, I mean, it's
What kind of abilities are you getting?
okay. Here's what you do. You see a pig, you jump on him, and for some reason you then throw him, and he always goes yeah.
Okay.
And that's the core of the game.
Right.
Jumping and ridiculous sound effects, and you do gain abilities, but I don't really remember what all of them are. You've also got you've got one weapon which is totally useless, and it's equivalent to a whip, but it's like a ball on a chain. Maybe, I don't know. It's fucking useless.
Cool.
Everything about this game is glorious. It is so dumb.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you listeners, go buy it right now, $19.99. It's out. I couldn't say how much more I loved with that sentence. Doesn't make sense. I love this fucking game. I need you to get it. All right. This has got my official stamp of approval, not just nostalgia either. Cause it's fucking awesome.
I'm convinced.
All right. Good. Goddamn right.
Do they have any visual effects to do they do any CRT filtering?
They
stuff?
do, yeah. But
do you play with that stuff?
I don't. I don't really care.
Yeah, no. I'm curious. I would have thought you would because you like your old camera stuff.
Yeah,
you're quite into that.
Yeah, I turned it on for a second.
Yeah.
I always want to try it, and then it doesn't.
Do you have a CRT at home? Do you play? Anything?
I don't. No. I have.
That's the one poison you haven't gotten into.
No, no. I do have old consoles, but I'll be honest, they're all modded and
right.
the HDMI, because I'd rather play on my big screen than.
That makes sense.
I have too many other expensive hobbies.
Sure.
I'm not trying to get into that. All right.
Yeah.
And CRT TVs are heavy and big.
They're heavy and
we
big.
have a little baby one, but it's only like an 8-inch. So what are you gonna play?
It's tough. I bought a professional video monitor.
Yeah.
But I'm not really that into it. But then I managed to convert it so that I could get HDMI stuff to go into it, and I put Sable on that, and it just looks so good. There's something about the analog aspect, which is so. And the reason I really wanted it though was just because you got all the knobs and buttons on the front.
Knobs and buttons.
Yeah, and that's everyone knows the most important part of a piece of kit, which
agree.
is why I almost disconnected this
Yep.
mic earlier because I just saw a nice button. And I was
Ooh.
But yeah, I guess we were talking about audio equipment earlier and how jealous I am. So yeah, I guess that's my I'm just gonna buy this big brick of a machine, and it's really satisfying to play with. And I'm always interested in these porting stuff forward because obviously those games were designed for CRT,
right?
So the visual language, the stuff you're seeing, is not as designed. It's just as it's. And so sometimes you could do work to adapt that, or do you just leave it, or there's all these questions around how you handle it.
Is it wide? Is it 16:9?
It is not. No, it's
4:3.
4:3. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I think that would actually impact gameplay more, right?
It would have to. I thought it was going to be because the opening when you turn it on, there's an opening animation which matches the original animation, and it's in widescreen. Mm-hmm. So I thought, oh fuck, they're going to change the game a little bit, good or bad. I thought they were going to, and then as soon as you press start, it goes 4:3, and it's back to PlayStation.
That's cool.
Hello, it's Dan from Chew High Labs on Discord, here to tell you, as always, to play this shit. Vexlands from Apogee is a open world survival action exploration game with crafting, combat, building, farming, and much more. If you've played games like Forager, you'll have a good idea of what to expect here. Vexlands finds you earning enough coin to open new areas on your map, expanding your reach while you mine, chop, fight, and craft resources into new machines, buildings, tools, and more. You'll also find yourself battling it out in dungeons with enemies for loot, and even doing some light base building and decorating and cozy stuff like that as well. This game is not out yet. It's coming soon, But there's a demo on Steam that you can play, and based on how much fun that I had with the demo, I'm recommending you check out Vexlands and keep your eyes and ears peeled for a release date. So wish listed if you must, etc. This is definitely one of my more anticipated games of late. There's skill trees you can fish, like you can see here on screen. If you're listening, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you're listening at home on the podcast, sorry. But I'm excited for this game. I think it's going to be really great. I really love the demo. So again, I'm giving you this recommendation based on the demo, but I had a lot of fun with the demo. I have it wish listed. I can't wait to buy it. So check it out. Vexlands from Apogee. And that's it for today. Remember to join the Chew High Labs Discord and, of course, to play good games.
And now it's time for the weekly topic, which this time, double feature.
Boo! Yay!
Two topics. And we're going to start with Bitsummit, because Bitsummit just happened. It is the Indie Game Expo in Kyoto, and it was like, what, a week ago, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
It just happened.
Yep.
That's why you're here.
Yeah, that is why I'm here. Yeah.
Okay, so before Kinsey, what is Bitsummit? Expand upon it. Give some listeners like a little bit of context of this whole damn thing.
Well, you've been to like a million Bitsummits.
I have. I'm actually wearing a Bitsummit hobby.
That's what made me think of that.
Okay, I wasn't. I was just giving you a chance. All right. For listeners, Bitsummit's been around since I want to say 2010, maybe 2011. It was started by a guy named James Milkey and Q Games, and it was basically they saw a gap in the market here in Japan to get indie games out and get a little more exposure for both themselves and for the broader market. And because so many people like you and me are in love with Japan and in love with indie games, it resonated like really, really well.
Yeah.
And so I want to say this is the 12th Bitsummit. It's grown and grown and grown. It went from being in a tiny, like almost a shed, to now having sponsors of Nintendo, Xbox, Sony. That doesn't scream indie, but they are funding and helping a lot of indie titles.
You need money sometimes.
We all need money. I mean, come on.
You have to host a big event.
We don't make art projects.
Yeah,
all right.
Well,
You think you do?
No.
Motherfucker
I
sells
don't.
games.
No. I make commercial. I want to sell stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
How was Bitsummit for you, and how many have you been to now?
Yeah, it was great. This was my first one actually.
Oh no shit!
Yeah, I'd never been before. Don't know why. I guess just the first event I came to in Japan was TGS when I came a couple years ago.
Oh, okay.
And we were doing a Japanese localization for Sable, so it was a good excuse to get out here. I think we did one media interview. Definitely worth the however many grand it cost to fly out here.
Sure.
But no, and then we got to spend a bit of time in Japan afterwards. And that was when I met you guys.
Yeah.
No, it was great. It's super chill. Like, thing about TGS is it's really, really, really big. Like, enormous.
Massive.
And it was actually when we were there, so it was like October or September, and it was still really hot. It's still quite hot in Tokyo then, but the venue is so big they can't like aircon it, and you have to walk loads. And so the nice thing about Bitsummit was it was a much more compact size. You can get around it. It's still big enough that there's enough going on. There's plenty to see. I definitely didn't see it all, but it's aircon, so even if it's in July, it's still manageable.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, people are really like here having a good time. And the thing I noticed when I was here last time is when you meet up, if you're doing business, if you're trying to meet, it's a really great place to do business because you're meeting up with nerds who are really happy that they're in Japan, and so they're in a good mood. And so, they're very happy to have a conversation with you.
Listen, don't spill all the beans about because Bitsummit is quite good, and we don't want everybody coming out here.
No, only cool people.
Only cool people. No, but it is true, though, that everybody, the reason that people are so excited to come out here is, not only are they in Japan, not only are they in Kyoto, but like they're around so many other people that are excited to be there.
Yeah.
And
the energy's good, and I think it's. One of my we haven't had it in London this year. The weather's been so crap, but the best feeling I think when you're in a city is like being able to go out in the evening, like late at night, in a t-shirt, go have a couple drinks, some people, and like Kyoto, you got that every night by the river, and it's like really chill. Everyone's at a good level. Like, yeah, no, it was really good. It was a good size this year. I think, yeah, if it gets much bigger, it might start being annoying. But yeah, it was actually really good.
Yeah, I want to say there were 100 games on the floor, and there was 2 floors of games. One being like alternative control games.
Those were so fun.
Then indie titles. Then there was the major sponsor booths from like New Blood Interactive to Critical Reflex. Basically, it was even though it's in Japan, it was wildly international.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I don't know how much Japanese representation there was in terms of the game dev scene here, but I guess the indie scene here is a bit different to other places from what I can understand.
It's still growing.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the culture of work here and the way people work with companies is very different to other places. So I think the scene here is different in its structure. But I think, yeah, it being such an international event was really nice as well. Like, you know, coming and meeting people that you know, a lot of people I haven't met before as well, and not just international, like Americans and Europeans, but also like people from Korea or like China and stuff coming, because it's fairly local for them. So I had a good few meetings with companies based in those places, and like, yeah, that's cool. I might not meet those people otherwise. So yeah, I think it's good to have that anchor point in the East as well.
Yeah, it reminds me. So like it's structured like any other consumer facing event, where it's there's 2 days for the public, but they also have the business day. But that's the core of the structure. But I think it's what's surrounding a Bitsummit is what actually makes it so interesting and effective for people. The fact that it's a very short event, 10 to 6, but you're almost always immediately go and hang out with people.
Yeah.
Very similar to like GDC or other B2B style events. It's very odd that it's a consumer event, but honestly it's more for us as business side.
Yeah, I think it strikes that balance really well, and it's not too expensive. Like stuff like GDC, I just came from Develop in Brighton as well, which is similar. But to be honest, you Develop, like, I've never got a ticket. I just show up in Brighton and go to the events around it. Yeah. And you could maybe do that for Bitsummit. I think it'd be harder, as in, I think it's so hot here. Like, you need to be inside. But I guess as the front bit, you can have for free anyway. But yeah, it's just good to be around and yeah, messaging people, be like, where you around, and go get coffee or something. And you never know where things lead, who you meet, what you can do. But yeah, I had a really great time, and I'll definitely be back. And I mean, hopefully it gets moved to a different month.
Yeah, it's too fucking hot.
Yeah, it is too hot.
Kinsey, how was is this your 4th Bitsummit?
Something like that. 4th, 3rd, 4th. I think 4th if you include the online one.
I'm including it. I'm including it. So how does this compare to? So you started with the online one that was mid-COVID, and you were an official live streamer.
Official.
Oh wow!
Which is pretty sweet.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And then your how is it compared to your 1st, 2nd, 3rd?
I think every year it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Like, it was the 2 floors this year, which I don't know if it's done that before COVID, if it's building back up or what. But it's definitely, to me, it's like online. That like lower floor that's like kind of dark, and then the upper floor that's like an actual expo hall.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's like growing and growing and growing and growing every single time I come, and like every single year I meet more people. So I feel like this is like an awesome event and I feel like all the other events like TGS, PAX, like they're all so much bigger. They're like, here, I get out of the cab when I come here, and I'm right by the Starbucks. 100% of the time there is someone outside that Starbucks that I know. Like, it's awesome. Like, I just feel like it's like our little Bitsummit family that just keeps growing every year.
Yeah, it's pretty astounding that I mean, it's such an easy event to go to, and like no matter where you are in the city, you're close. And,
did you guys play anything?
Not really. I tend to.
No one plays games.
Yeah, I tend to avoid. I mean, I played Chris's game, the Takuno Himitsu. Which was cool. It's like a kind of Golden Sun like game, but but more real-time combat element. And the puzzles are really nice. The arts are really nice. And then it has this like drag queen element to it, which is quite fun.
Nice.
And like some of the queens here in Kyoto featured in the game as well. So,
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
that's
fun.
cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I played a bit of that, but otherwise, no. I just had lots of biz dev meetings, and then so I didn't have much time to play stuff. But also like I think when it's for the public, I sort of don't want to be blocking
Yeah.
developers showing their game either, and
I definitely
Yeah.
get that feeling. So I usually don't play much at expos either. And also I get like this weird stage fright when like the developer's right there, even though I've been that person, helping someone with a demo, but for some reason I really don't like being there. But I do try to play a lot of the alt control stuff because that stuff is never going to come, like I'm never going to play it at home. So I
Yeah.
played the one with like all the 12 banana controllers, the monkey one.
Yeah.
That was really fun.
I didn't see that.
There was, was a lot of
I missed
bananas on
out.
that
Yeah,
table.
I missed out.
I played that
And
one.
there was like the one where you have to like the like soccer kick one where you have to like run in place and then like hit the like kick the thing and then scream into the microphone. And then there was the whack-a-mole game where that was the huge setup where you had to like be the mole, and it was like so cool.
That one was
Played
quite
it with-
good.
Oh, I
12
think I
other
saw
children.
that one. I think I saw that one. Yeah. I saw someone dipping their head in and out of that.
Yeah.
Whack-a-mole where you're the mole.
You're
That's
the mole,
very
yeah.
silly,
That's great.
There's like the making the pizza one that like they use a hula hoop as the controller.
That's cute.
I can't hula hoop anymore,
No,
it turns
no,
out.
no.
Like, but
Yeah, I want to try
It
that
was
one.
so
actually.
cool.
I'm weirdly good at hula hooping for some reason. I don't know why.
should have made the
Just-
pizza.
Yeah,
Right?
I know.
It's that Finnish blood in you.
Yeah. The Cypriot hips.
They good at hula
I don't
hooping?
know. So I played a couple of games. I played Cassette Beasts.
Oh, yeah.
And
Raw Fury game.
oh, is it really?
My publisher. Yeah. No, they're UK based. Those guys. They're yeah.
There was no one at the booth,
Oh,
so
really?
I just sat down and
Yeah.
played it. Because the aesthetic called me over.
Yeah.
Like right away, I'm like ooh, Game Boy monotone or
Yeah,
monochrome sort of thing. I played that, and then I also played Hotel Barcelona, the new Swery game.
Yeah.
And I played some other ones, but those are the two that really called me. And I played RP7, a Korean game, and all of the.
Oh, I
alt
played that
control.
at WAS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I played definitely all the alt control stuff as well.
Yeah.
Did anybody buy any needless crap?
I did.
Oh yeah.
I got the Katamari pin from Fangamer, and they had Banjo-Kazooie clear folders.
So
'Cause
you needed those.
I definitely need
Yeah.
more clear folders. God, I have
Yeah,
so
that's
many fucking
important.
clear folders living in Japan.
Yeah, they sell quite a lot of those, don't they?
Yeah.
I don't know what I would use them for.
And I got the Stray one that was free, like they're like swag.
Right.
But I like didn't have a bag, so I literally carried this one clear folder all day, and I was like, "How much do I want this?" Apparently a lot because
Apparently.
it
You
kept
lasted
it,
the
you
whole
kept
day.
it, huh?
I went to parties
Impressive.
carrying this clear
Oh my
folder.
God. Did you put any drink in it or like mix
Shut up.
your drink?
Organize
It
your
made it,
drinks.
yeah, I don't-
Yeah.
I'm surprised I didn't
Could've
lose
used
it.
Yeah. No, that's impressive. You must have been really committed to what was it, the Stray one?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Just
Big
another
Stray
clear
fan.
folder.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had the Banjo-Kazooie ones.
Yeah.
Listeners, check out Bitsummit. Be sure to go next year. Oh, actually, don't go because it's our event. You need to get the fuck out of here.
Our
all right?
listeners, I'm pretty sure they're on the coolest.
Some of them. All right.
You know who you are.
You know who you aren't. You know what I mean? You can fuck right out now. So let's talk about main topic 2.
Main topic 2. This is Greg.
Hi, Greg.
Oh, okay, me. Yeah.
Greg, you're a longtime video game developer of 29 years.
Yeah, sure. Since I was 2, yeah.
So, the viewers already know that you've made Sable, but why don't you roll us back? Where did your game development start? What was your first little foray, and why?
Yeah, so basically, Daniel and I, my business partner, we graduated from university. He did English literature degree, comparative literature. I did an architecture degree.
Video games.
Yeah, exactly.
Screams video games. Yeah.
But no, I was showing. So his dad is a family friend, and I was showing him my portfolio. He's an architect as well, And he was like, "You obviously don't want to do architecture, so what do you want to do?" And I said, "Well, I want to."
Did he just say you sucked? He's like, "You suck."
Yeah, that was it. He was like, "You're terrible at this."
I can tell your heart's not in this.
No, because I was doing loads of like video game adjacent architecture stuff. I was like, yeah, but and I was like, I'd love to make video games, but I don't think I'm gonna get a job. And so Daniel and I met at the pub one day, and we're just like, look, we're not gonna get internships even, so why don't we just like make our own? I've got a shed. I had a shed in the back of my parents' garden, and we just crammed ourselves in there, and we were there for 5 years making so we made some mobile games. We did some just utter crap, but like we learned a lot doing it. That like the first year we knew so little.
What year was this?
This was 2014.
2014.
So yeah, that we knew so little that like the first year we literally were passing around USB sticks as our like to merge our work. Like we were exporting Unity packages and then passing.
That was your version control?
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah. That was like until one of us. I think Daniel did a contract job where they used version control, and he was like, "Oh, by the way, we should do this." And I was like, "Cool, yeah, like yeah, I guess let's try it." So we didn't know what we didn't know, and yeah, the first 3 years were like just trying to survive. We released a couple mobile games which just don't exist anymore.
Did you guys have day jobs as well on top of this?
No, we were just. I mean, so we did do contract work.
Right.
So we did like some web design. We did some. What else did we do? Did some apps, and like Daniel, towards the end, got a job on Snippet Clips.
Okay.
So he did some contract work doing that, and we were just splitting everything we got 50-50.
Yeah.
And then we did get a publishing deal with one of our games, which was really bad, like a really, really, really bad deal. But it was more than zero, so 100% we took it, and we didn't know it was bad even. Yeah. But we were really just trying to survive, and I think by the end of that 3 years, it was kind of like, okay, we just got to go get real jobs, and Daniel could do that in games as a programmer. I couldn't, so I was looking at going back into architecture, and we applied for Stugan. There's a like what do you call it? Not residency, but like a
grant, or
no, it's like a thing in Sweden where they would go to this like a summer house in Sweden, and a bunch of game developers would go and make games together.
Oh, cool!
And like prototype stuff. Yeah, so we applied to that, and in the week from sending the game that we sent to them and getting our rejection, we started working on Sable, which we'd kind of had in the back of our heads for a year, but we were just like, it's not viable. It's like this little thing that it's just sort of like what we want to make, but nobody else would care about. And I remember like having my head in my hands during that period and being like, why the fuck haven't I made a video game with a building in it yet? Like I studied... And like we were just doing stuff we weren't good at, because I think we were like so aware of our deficiencies. But in a way that meant that when we did finally get around to like working in a game like Sable, we had at least some understanding of these other elements. But yeah, and then that was, I guess, 2017, and I just come back from Japan actually. I had a really it was a rough year, 2017. My grandma died, and then my uncle died a month later whilst I was in Japan. And I just remember being like, I just want to make what I want to make now. And I don't want to keep compromising and just trying to make things I think will make us a living. And so Sable was just a bit of a Hail Mary, a bit of a just like, yeah, let's see how it goes and see if we can get enough buffer from a contract job to do a 6-month job on this and release it, and maybe just put it out for free or something and just be done. But then we shared some tweets and they went viral, and then from there it just picked up really quickly, and we were still finishing our last game, Swing King and the Temple of Bling, which was this mobile.
That's a sick fucking name, dude.
Good name.
That'll go great with Car Sword.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was about this little monkey who you controlled. It was like a mobile puzzler, on the iPhone, and it doesn't exist anymore, really.
Wait, say the name one more time.
Swing King and the Temple of Bling.
Yes. Okay, good.
Temple of Bling.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think the name was like the only reason we ever got articles written about it. People were just like, yeah, that name's sick.
It's a good name.
Yeah, but I was doing like pixel art, which I'm not really that comfortable with, and like the level, it was a good opportunity to learn like some level design principles, which carried over to Sable a bit. But we were still finishing that, and then we were talking to publishers who were approaching us over Sable. And Raw Fury approached us, made a really early offer. We didn't even know how much money to ask for. We didn't know what budget looked like. We didn't pitch anyone. We just had companies pitching us essentially. It was
it's a good spot to be in.
It was, but it was a really weird experience. And so we decided. So Raw Fury made an offer, and they were like, go consider other offers or whatever. But we they were a really small company, like 11 people. We really liked their vibe, and we were like, we could spend 6 months pitching this game, showing people. We can't really afford that, so we'd have to do contract work to even do that. And then that makes that process take even longer, and then we might end up in the same place anyway. Or we could just take this offer, and like they seem chill. Like the number we put in the original budget definitely wasn't a number by launch.
They erased 10.
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
We good on that.
Yeah, closer to adding an extra zero.
Right, yeah.
But no, it was partly because we got nice Game Pass deal, which meant that our budget was just like whatever the Game Pass deal was, at least in our heads. I think Raw Fury would have been happy if we went over, but we wanted to wrap it up by the end. But yeah, that was like the next 3-4 years, 2017 to 21, I guess, which I think would have been a bit earlier if we hadn't had like COVID and stuff, but we did. And then since that launch, we did a year of updates. So we did DLC, we did localization, we did porting to PS5. Alongside, I did some work on a HBO show called Random Acts of Flyness, which was
shit.
It was just some animation work. I just kind of sent it to the director. I was like, "You edit it. I don't want to edit it."
That's pretty fucking cool.
That's
It was
awesome.
fun. Yeah, I also just random projects like I did a music video with Flying Lotus and some pack one with
Get the fuck out of here.
Shinichiro Watanabe.
Get the fuck out of here.
Directed the video. He just like this was in 2017, so it was 2018. It was when we were getting ready for the E3 trailer. They contacted us and they were like, can you do some work for us? And they just wanted me to like model a robot. I was like, there's some better 3D modelers out there, but I'm not going to say no. I'm just going to do it. And I just did that in the evenings whilst we were preparing for the E3. Well, I don't know when I did it actually, because I was also working on the trailer and the content for that in the evenings too. So I don't know, but made that happen. So just these random little projects that come up from time to time.
Not that little, dude. That's fucking sweet.
Yeah, they're fun. Well, it's little. My involvement is little. I just get to be like, oh, my name is like the only non-Japanese name in the credits for this music video. Cool. I like that.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah, Shinichiro Watanabe.
HBO.
Yeah, I got a Zoom call with him, and he paid me for it. Like, yeah, cool. I'll take that. But the HBO thing was fun. It was interesting. It was a really difficult project in terms of figuring out how to do it. But yeah, and actually, it was around when I broke my arm as well, so it was quite tricky. And then we did the book, the Sable Design Works, which was a lot of work, but
it's a beautiful book.
Thank you. I really inspired by like a lot of the books you get in Japan, design works and works that mostly animation studios put out about like the development, like the concept art and stuff. And I sort of wanted to make something that showed the process of games, and like I think people often talk about the art in Sable, and I wanted to show that like I'm not that good at drawing, but I could still make a quite pretty looking game. So I hope it inspires some people, and that the process of it is like, I think seeing that like, the people who make things are human can often inspire someone to like be like, oh well, I could do something like that. So I think that was the hope with the design works, but also just to like close that chapter a bit and be like, okay, that's done, that's archived, we can move on. So and now we're working new projects, but yeah, that's the game dev story, I guess.
Shit, it's a pretty good fucking. No,
That's
no,
awesome,
it's
yeah.
fine. It was good
Buy
enough.
the book if you want.
Yeah,
to,
good,
yeah.
You'll buy that
More
motherfucking
detail.
book. So like we know a little bit about like your beginnings. We don't really know why Sable exists though.
So the original idea was just like I was watching Star Wars Force Awakens, maybe the trailer. I don't remember. I think it was just the film. And like, this beginning bit where she's on Jakku, that would be a cool video game. But if she just never left,
Right.
Yeah.
and then it was like just this kind of idea, and then eventually it started to, the design limitations, the team limitations, gradually formed the like extents of the game. But so one day, I think it was in 2016. We have a local pub meetup called London Indies, which is it's just a pub meetup that we used to go to. And it was sort of like, we had like 3 hours before the pub meetup. So we were just like, we're not going to get any real work done. Let's just, I've got a bunch of line rendering assets for this other project I was working on. I was trying to recreate a architectural rendering style in black and white. Why don't we just grab that and apply that to this desert idea? So we just got a desert asset from the asset store, like a free sand dune asset, and then a $5 hover car asset or something. Put some custom trail rendering on, did a custom skybox, threw the line rendering over it. 2 hours later, got it was just, you could just drive this. And then I put a giant cube, like a 1 kilometer size cube,
Right. 2
kilometers away. So it's just a giant cube, 2 kilometers, and that was it. And it was just like, all you could do was drive from A to B. If you drove off the edge, you'd have to reset the build,
Right.
And that was it. And we just took that to the pub and put it on the table somewhere and walked away and had
2015.
2016, yeah,
Different times.
yeah, April, but
Different times.
People were like into it,
Yeah,
weirdly.
yeah.
And it was like, okay, there's something here. But so then the idea I kept working on the idea, like in the evenings, pitched it to some funds, didn't get any response, and then 2017 was when we then showed it publicly, and then it started to pick up momentum. But that year between was just like slowly ruminating and thinking about the idea, which I think is like a really underrated aspect of especially early development, like that like you can't just like, sometimes an idea will come like really fully formed or whatever, but I think it's really helpful to get stuff down on paper and then sit on it for a while and like go do things. And like, that was a year of that, I guess. So it meant when we were going, we had a running start.
Sure.
We were just going. And so the art, I had a bunch of concept art ready to go, and we knew the direction of the art style, had some ideas about the gameplay already. So even though, so it meant that all the tech art stuff that got done in like a week, the first week, and then it got refined gradually over the project. But I think people thought the game had been in development way longer than it had, and that eventually caused sort of problems on the back end in a way, because it was like towards release, it felt like a lot of pressure then, because people were like, this game's been in development forever, and it's like, no, we just showed it to you too early. 4 years, 3.5 years, pretty normal dev cycle for a game of this size, especially with a team of our size. But I definitely felt the pressure towards release, and I think it came in hot. Like the writing came in the last like 4 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Localization.
Fuck yeah.
It was hot. I don't want to do that ever again. But what else? It was that was the sort of core of the idea, was that Force Awakens idea.
Right.
And then like the art and that stuff came later, like the sort of like clear line Mobius sort of inspired style, the like Ghibli inspired stuff, like that came a bit later. And actually the Ghibli stuff came from, I spoke earlier about my trip to Japan when my uncle died. On that trip I went to the Ghibli museum, and that was where I was like, I felt like I was on a pilgrimage or something. Like I still have my like notes because you can't take photography.
Yeah.
So I have my like notes that I wrote down on my phone from that trip, and like it was, I think going there was like the time where I felt like I just really want to work on what I want to work on now. I think it was that specific museum visit, and just it meant a lot to me. I think seeing the like reference books that they have, seeing all the drawings, the hand drawings, the scrappy little sketches.
Right.
That museum is wonderful.
Yeah, it's
I
amazing.
really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So, not everybody knows that Japanese Breakfast did the OST on it.
Yeah.
I first heard about them when I think it was 2016 with, I think the song is Everybody Wants to Love You.
Yeah.
That was a fucking smash fucking hit. And then when I see your first game trailer and it's like music by Japanese Breakfast, I'm gonna talk about them for a second. I knew, oh shit, they're gonna be fucking famous. Like, because in my mind, they had toured Korea back in 2016. I had seen them then, and like they were big, but like no fucking clue they were gonna be outrageously huge.
Mm-hmm.
How did that happen?
Yeah. I mean, we didn't know Michelle was going to be that famous either, but I don't think she knew either. But no, how did it happen? So, credit goes to Daniel for that, because he read an article on Polygon that Michelle did with someone there, and she made a chiptune sound. She made a game.
Oh no shit!
For to promote her album at the time.
Yeah.
And in that, she's talking about, I'd like to do a game soundtrack or whatever. So then when we happened to be looking for a composer at the time, and so Daniel said like, do you like Japanese Breakfast? I was like, yeah. I'm like, like her stuff. It's like, do you want to see if she'd be interested in doing the Sable soundtrack? Sort of like, okay, yeah, let's see. So he just DM'd her on Twitter.
Wow.
Her DMs were open at the time.
Wow.
Obviously now that's not
True.
true.
Yeah, of course.
Probably, I assume. But and then she was touring in Europe, so we just went to the pub before a gig near our houses, and we had a chat, and she was interested. It was actually pretty fraught getting the song, getting the contract done before the trailer. We were we'd been, because she has a record label and we have to negotiate with them, and they're so used to dealing with like big, just I guess bigger entities than us, and we're just right. But we got it signed. I was really worried that we weren't going to get it signed before that, because it had been such an annoying back and forth, and I was like, we have to find new music for this trailer.
Right.
But it worked out, and Michelle was amazing to work with. I really didn't expect the level of commitment and involvement that she ended up giving us.
Mm-hmm.
In her contract, she could have just delivered 1 hour of music and been walked away.
Right.
But she was like really checking the implementation. She was like really interested in like, and she said to me a few I want to work for you guys. Like, I want someone to work for me in a way. So like, I respect that it's your project creatively, and I want you. And we were like, we want to leave space for you creatively too. But she was like, yeah, totally. I don't know. It was just really collaborative though.
Right.
That's what it
That's
was.
awesome.
Rather than it just being like asymmetrical, like, here's what we need, you deliver it. Okay, cool.
Or the other way around, where she's like, here's what it is.
Here's what you get.
Tough.
Yeah. Which honestly we would have taken.
Right.
We would have 100% we would have taken. But no, I mean, she was amazing to work with. And then, since she wrote her book, which was has done insanely well.
It's in airports, bro.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
It was like New York Times bestseller for like 75 weeks or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
And like my mum and my mother-in-law read it.
Wow.
It's like, there's a lot. Yeah. And she's obviously immensely talented person. But that's so cool, because as well, like, she's done so many different creative projects. And I think as much as I don't just make games, I guess, like, but I don't see myself as a game maker only. Like, I really do just see myself as generally a creative, and I just like to, games is the medium that I primarily have chosen in the industry I understand most.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was like feeling, I like to think that if I was really like, I'd like to make a film, or I'd like to make a building or whatever, or a piece of art, be able to go do that as well. And I think she has that same fluidity and that same mentality. And I feel like you're similar, like with your band and stuff like that. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know about you, Kinsey, but how do you feel about
Pretty
that?
one note.
But no, she's not. She's not. She loves beer.
Oh, 2 notes. Video games, beer.
Yeah.
So what's coming up? What are you doing? Without obviously you can't talk about this game because you're still pre-pitching. But what's life like for you now? What are you working on?
We had a number of contractors working with us on Sable, and the teams, they've gone on mostly to do some other stuff, sort of building new. Actually, a lot of the same team back up and working on new projects, prototypes, seeing what sticks, and just taking it relatively slow at this point because I think I say that, but I work a lot, but I really, really, really love my job, and I do feel very privileged to be in a position where I'm able to do a job where I have so much control over what I do, and I think for some people it's a very different mentality to I don't even like calling it work anymore. I think it's a bad way for me to think about it because I've spent a lot of time feeling really guilty about my feelings towards it because I enjoyed it so much, and I was like, but I am just creating stuff, and I would just do that if I was paid or not. I feel that way, honestly. Maybe I'd make slightly different things because I do have to make a living, and I do have to pay the people I work with and whatever. But so basically at the moment every day I'm just trying to progress the project and really treat it like.
It's a long way to go for saying I can't tell you what I'm fucking working on, bro.
Yeah, it's true. I think the point is I'm not rushing things at the moment in a really. I'm trying to also. I think the way Sable went, it was such a manic rush. The ball was immediately rolling, and we were just like, okay, now we're making the game, and it was. Sable development felt like we had started a 100-meter sprint, and then halfway through, someone told us it was 200 meters, and then we got to 125 meters, and then someone had told us no, it's now 400 meters,
right?
But we weren't ever able to pace ourselves properly. Whereas this development very much feels like, okay, I know this is an 800 meters, and I'm going to start the race as if it's an 800 meters, and I'm going to build the foundation properly, and I'm going to pace myself correctly.
Notice he didn't say marathon, so that means it's a very small. It's a platformer.
Yeah, 800. I feel like 800 is harder to pace yourself.
Hell yeah, you have to sprint the entire fucking way.
Yeah. Maybe it is more of a marathon, but I feel like because the goalposts kept moving constantly, and that was on us. I'm not blaming anyone else for that, but I think it's about setting the right expectation, the right pace early on with this new project.
He's still doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're excited to see whatever it's going to be. I'm pretty excited.
What do you want from me?
Cars and swords.
Yeah, dude, that's all I wanted, dude.
Yeah, we already gave the exclusive.
You just added the convertible yesterday. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
dude.
Actually, if you want to play a sick cars and guns game, there's a Fumes demo. It's like Mad Max, but
what's it called?
Fumes.
Okay. I don't know it. I just played one recently, also a Mad Max game called Red Metal.
Okay, yeah.
But that's not by you.
No,
Get the fuck out of here.
No. But it's set in a desert. It's kind of Sable-y.
Right.
Yeah. It's just got guns instead of hover bikes and masks. But yeah. No masks in my next game. Or you'll see faces. That's exclusive.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah.
And now it's time for the news. And we got news.
Oh, shit.
Isn't that cool?
Hit us with that motherfucking news.
So last week, Nintendo released brand new gachas at their Japan store locations, and they recreated the most iconic parts of some of their retro controllers as a keychain.
Finally.
A few years ago, they launched the controller button collection of replicas of both the Famicom and the NES controllers. But this is the second series, and it has parts of the... Oh, I lost my spot because I improvised. Damn it, Kinsey.
Super Famicom, N64, GameCube.
Yeah, those ones.
Yeah.
And apparently, the Tokyo store got super bombarded with lines up to an hour long, and they had to limit it to only 2 per person.
Okay.
But we're in Kyoto.
I got some. Yeah,
I was
you
gonna
got some,
ask,
right?
That's funny.
The queue was nothing. The queue was like for me.
Same, yeah.
There was nobody when I went.
There was
I
3
traded
people.
with some people though, like because I got 2 of the what did I get 2 of the SNES one, the buttons, and I traded like for a GameCube C stick or whatever.
Right.
Nice. I think the C-Stick's my favorite one.
Which ones did you get all of them?
I have all of them.
Yeah, okay. I didn't get the N64 buttons yet.
I have extras.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You want to trade?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do some tradesies.
Cool. I've got an extra N64 stick. So
I have so many N64
okay, that's
sticks.
all I got spare of.
Yeah.
I'll see what I can get.
Yeah, like I bought 9 of them.
Okay, yeah.
And because it was 3 per person in Kyoto.
Oh, right, yeah.
And like, but you had to go through the line every time. It wasn't like Tokyo. And I couldn't get anything like Super Famicom or SNES. I got everything else.
Oh,
so I
really?
had to trade for those.
Okay,
But there was like people like hanging out.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
just
yeah.
waiting.
Waiting to trade?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got lucky that someone did that to me, and then I was like, okay, I'm going to do that
Yeah.
as well and see if, yeah. So I managed to get, I got 5 of 6 now. So,
Nice,
yeah.
nice. Which one? Oh, you're just missing 64 buttons?
Yeah, that's literally
Oh,
it. Yeah,
sweet. Well,
yeah.
I have an extra
Awesome.
with your name on it.
Oh, cool.
There you go.
That's
there you
my,
go. That's sweet.
that's my bribe for coming on this.
Fuck yeah. Yeah. Well paid, not a bribe, motherfucker.
But I think the sticks are my favorite, and the GameCube buttons.
Yeah,
But-
having the extra N64 one's nice because I've been using it as like a fidget spinner when I'm on a Zoom call or whatever.
Yeah,
right? So,
exactly.
Yeah, I was in my Japanese class the other day, like losing my mind. Yeah. All they can hear is fucking annoying.
I was in a Zoom call the other day, and somebody was like, "Who's ever using a fidget spinner? Can you stop?"
What one
Because
were you
apparently
using?
the sound came across so much.
Which one were you using? C-stick or
That was like an actual like spinner.
okay, right.
But
yeah,
it was
yeah, yeah.
like, but it's like not loud. So I was so surprised that the sound traveled.
Right, yeah,
and now
yeah.
I'm like terrified to use fidgets on calls
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I
yeah.
did not even think they could hear it.
I've got a habit of just like getting a drawing
Yeah.
during a call, but I'm just drawing nonsense. But maybe it looks like I'm taking notes. So
Right.
like,
Oh yeah.
Smart.
yeah,
That's smart.
it's actually
Big dicks, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
like fucking super bad. Like,
Did you get any of them?
I did not, but I would want. I did go with someone. I'd never heard of them, but I would want the Super Famicom buttons and
Yeah.
the Super Nintendo buttons. Those are very cool.
Yeah.
They're expensive to me.
Yeah, 600 yen each.
In order to risk, it's only 1/3 chance. I just lost my batteries there. Next segment coming right up.
And now it's time for Call Me Up, where we answer your questions from Discord. If you ever want to ask us a question on Discord, go to our Discord, scroll down to the Call Me Up thing, and write it there, and then you can ask a question. You're an expert now.
yeah, cool. I know. I'll be doing that next week.
Perfect. And our first question is from Squid Poquo. And what natural disaster do you think you'd have the best chances of surviving? A massive tornado, an earth-shattering quake, a tsunami, a biblical flood, a sandstorm, a locust plague, or Godzilla?
I live in the UK, so we get none of those. So I'd probably die equally quickly in all of them. But I don't know. I'm trying. I feel like Godzilla is like one that you could, like. I don't know. Would you? I wouldn't run. I feel like some people they run in the wrong direction when you watch like one of these things. They like run. They run straight instead of sideways, right? And I feel like if you have the wherewithal to run sideways instead, you have a good chance of surviving.
Probably all right.
Yeah. What about you? What are you thinking?
Yeah, because I feel like some of these, like a tornado, like sure, if I had like a place to go underground, then probably. But I think if anything, Godzilla, what a fucking cool way to die.
Yeah.
I want that on my tombstone.
I think exactly. I'd take the risk.
Like
just
that one
because it'd be cooler.
It'll
Yeah.
look the coolest, and
Yeah.
then I can get pictures of Godzilla. Well, I mean, I'll be dead, so it doesn't really matter. But you know what? If I run
you survive.
sideways,
Yeah,
it'll
yeah.
be fine.
Yeah, because if you're like, oh, I survived a tornado, people are like, oh yeah, that's. But if you survive Godzilla, that's.
That's badass.
Yeah, exactly.
And our next question is from Steven. And so this is ranking chew highs and beer.
Okay.
Your top 5 in Japan.
All right. Yeah, you're gonna have to do it. Do you want to take over, Mark?
And it says brands and flavor, but I'm just going to be really fast and loose with it and say chew highs. So there's a Suntory brand that's always does these 3% chew highs that I'm like obsessed with because they do fun flavors. But every summer they do a pineapple one. And I love it so much that last summer I went on Amazon and I bought like 4 20-packs of them so I could just have them all through the winter.
Okay, so they're like winter drink and a summer drink.
Yeah.
Are some flavors better for winter or some seasonal? Oh, cool.
Ta-da!
Okay.
I mean, that's not it, but it's close enough because it's pineapple.
Can I try this?
Yeah. How do you feel? Live reaction right here. Pineapple chew high.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good. Yeah, I'm into that. I'll be having a few of those later at the Chew High Labs party. What do you call it? What's the party called?
Chew High Social Club.
Chew High Social Club. Is it Chew High Labs? Vitae Labs? Chew High
Labs.
Chew High Labs.
Do you know where you are?
Yeah, but no. Where am I? This thing just blew my mind. I don't know how to react. So yeah.
I think pineapple chew highs are super underrated because everyone thinks of like the lemon sours and stuff that everybody has, but pineapple's where it's at. And beer, I mean, let's be honest. Of the cheap beer, it all kind of tastes the same.
I mean, I think Japanese beer, like Sapporo is, I feel like, I don't know, it's just like sometimes the can you get is the really heavy metal one that you could
They do have nicer cans.
Yeah, knock someone out with that one. Yeah, I quite like that. Asahi's just the like export one that you just get everywhere, I think.
Yeah.
And so I think I prefer having Sapporo here, maybe just because I'm like a bit edgy as well, and that's just me trying too hard.
I do think that Asahi has the one that's like the Nama beer, like the fresh beer can.
Yeah.
And that one's pretty good.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think that. And then, like, of course, there's craft breweries, and those are all amazing as well. So, yeah, beer and chew highs are good in Japan.
Both good.
Who knew it? And that's all the time we have. Thank you so much for listening and watching if you are. And first of all, thank you, Greg, so much for coming on with us.
Well, thank you for having me.
Where can people find you on the internet?
Shedworks Greg on Twitter, and I don't really use anything else, so I'm just brain rotted there.
Perfect.
So, yeah, join me.
And as always, Carve Snowboarding is out right now on Oculus Quest. Halloween Forever is out
right now. Hey, why am I on screen and not Kinsey and Greg? It's because we had a power outage. So follow all of Chew High Labs on social media, especially Discord. Ask us some stupid questions, and we'll see you in 2 weeks, maybe. We love you. Bye.